The author then continues with, for themselves. This is a reflexive pronoun, dative, third person, plural. It should read in themselves or to themselves. As Cambridge notes, this is what is called the dative of disadvantage. It means to their own destruction. There is no human remedy for sin forgiveness, none. And the temple rites which looked forward to Christ are now, in fact, a human remedy to Israel. Only God can forgive, and that through Christ, who is, as it says, the Son of God. To take this course of action would then lead to the final words of the verses, and put him to open shame. What is the purpose of Christ's cross if Israel retreats to what only look forward to that cross? That's why we've been going through the Old Testament, through the Levitical sacrifices. They only look forward to Christ. If you paid attention in even one sermon, you saw that every single sacrifice, every verse about every sacrifice, and every word in every verse about every sacrifice pointed to what? To Jesus Christ. Everybody got that? Meaning, observing the law of Moses. It is a shameful act which would in turn bring discredit upon the Lord, who voluntarily took on the very sin which the temple rites could never expiate. This is what Israel did. After tasting his goodness, they shunned him and returned fully to temple worship. To this day, they are looking to reestablish the temple worship once again. What is seen here is merely a theoretical possibility concerning the salvation of God's people, Israel collectively. It is not speaking of what God has done in saving and sealing individuals under the new covenant. This is the same for Hebrews 10, verse 26 through 29, which people always cite to show that you can lose your salvation. We will not be analyzing that due to time constraints. For Israel, there is no finality in these three verses. Everything in Scripture testifies to the forgiveness of God in Jesus Christ, which is by grace through faith. The author's warning is that for Israel to assume that going back to the temple rites will make them holy or make them more holy or bring them nearer to God is completely contradictory to the work of Jesus Christ himself. Further, the words of the author later in verse 9 actually presuppose that this is, in fact, a hypothetical situation, which is being spoken of, and thus it is a doctrinal treatise for the church to read and learn from, and for the nation of Israel as a whole to do the same. Until they as a collective whole come to Christ, they can find no way of being restored to God. Those things of the old merely look forward to the new.